Was there anybody else at home at that time?
My mother and my younger brother.
And did you have any plans with them for that day?
Later at night, yeah, but for the day, no.
What were they doing that day?
They were leaving to Florida on the same night to go visit my oldest brother and my nephew.
Were you planning at that point to go with Miss Trafficante for the day?
Yes.
And you mentioned that you had texted her. Did you end up making plans with her?
Yes.
And what did you do with Miss Trafficante?
We went to the beach and a little bit of hiking.
When you say you went to the beach, can you tell us where?
In Milford.
Do you recall what beach that was?
Gulf Beach.
I'm sorry?
Gulf Beach.
Gulf Beach? And you say you went hiking as well. Can you tell us where you went hiking?
Downtown, there's like a little trail through the woods and stuff, and a little pier.
And what time did you meet up with Miss Trafficante that day?
I want to say early afternoon, but I can't remember the exact time.
How did you come to be with Miss Trafficante? Did she drive to you? Did you drive to her?
I went to pick her up.
Did you have your own car?
Yep.
And after going to the beach and hiking, what did you do next?
Beep to you too.
By that time, it was later in the afternoon, and we went back to my house.
In Milford?
Yes.
And what did you do when you got back to the house?
Just chill, relax. Nothing.
Was there anybody else home when you got home?
Mother and my younger brother.
And what were they doing, if anything?
I can't recall.
Did you have any plans for that evening?
At that time, no.
You say at that time no. Did there later come a time when you did make some plans for that evening?
Yes.
And how did that come to be?
I believe Tyler had texted me about a party that was going on, and he asked me to come with him.
That's Tyler De Silva. Okay. And did you agree to go with him?
Yes.
Did Ms. Trafficante go along as well?
Yes.
And how did you end up going to that party?
Yes.
And where was that party?
Shelton, 5 Lazy Brook Road.
And did you know the people that lived at 5 Lazy Brook Road?
At the time, no.
And how did you get to that party?
Jack came and picked me and my girlfriend at the time up.
And when you say Jack, that's Jack Snyder?
Yes.
But you owned your own car?
Yes.
Why was Jack driving this group to this party?
We all like drinking, and he was mainly the one who would drive us around and stuff.
Okay. So it was understood that there would be some underage drinking going on at this party? Did you bring your own alcohol?
I did not.
Did anybody in your party bring alcohol?
Tyler De Silva.
Okay. Were you with him when he got that alcohol?
He got it from his parents. We never stopped to get it.
I couldn't hear the end part.
We never stopped to get it.
You never stopped to get alcohol?
No.
And was that fairly standard for his parents to supply the alcohol when you were with him?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Snyder come to pick you up at your home?
Yes.
Was Mr. De Silva already with him?
Yes.
Was there anybody else in the car?
My girlfriend at the time, Mackenzie Trafficante.
Okay. Anybody else other than the four of you?
No.
And did the four of you leave in Jack Snyder's car and go to 5 Lazy Brook?
Yes.
How long did it take to get there?
Anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes.
And what was it like in the car on the way there?
Chill, drinking, listening to music.
Loudly?
Yes.
Was that fairly standard as well?
Yeah, always.
Did you bring any alcohol in the car?
No.
Did you drink alcohol in the car?
Yes.
Did Tyler De Silva drink alcohol in the car?
Yes.
Did Jack Snyder drink alcohol in the car?
Yes.
While driving?
Yes.
Did you bring any weapons in the car?
No.
Did you see any weapons in the car?
No.
Did you know if anybody else brought weapons in the car?
No.
You told us it took about 15 to 20 minutes to get to 5 Lazy Brook. What time did you arrive at 5 Lazy Brook?
Around 8 or 9 p.m.
Was it dark already?
Yeah.
Was it dark when you left the house to get there?
About to be.
And what was going on at 5 Lazy Brook when you got there?
Upon getting there, we texted somebody who was already there to come show us the way in, and we walked up and went inside.
When you say we texted somebody, did you text somebody?
No, Tyler De Silva.
So Tyler De Silva texted somebody, and did someone come to allow you into the party?
Yeah.
Where did they meet you?
In the driveway.
Do you remember who it was?
I believe Will Singewold.
Will Singewold came to let you into the party?
Yes.
And who's Will Singewold?
He was in my grade. We played football together.
Did you see anyone else that you knew at the party?
Yeah, there was a ton of people from my grade, and I pretty much know everybody there.
Was this a party that consisted of St. Joseph's High School students?
Yeah.
Did you see any folks there that were not St. Joseph's High School students?
No.
And what did you do once you were into the party?
Greeted everybody. Started talking, conversating.
Do you remember what you were wearing that evening?
Was wearing Old Miss blue T-shirt, black jeans, and slides.
Slides. What do you mean by slides?
Not flip-flops, but they were a form of sandals, pretty much.
All right. Let's see if I understand what a slide is. Is this a sandal that has a strap that goes across the top?
Yes.
Just a single strap?
Yes.
And at some point, did you put on a neck pillow?
Yes.
And why did you put on a neck pillow?
At the time, I thought it was funny.
Okay. Were you doing anything in particular when you put on that neck pillow?
Yes, we were playing beer pong.
Okay. And is that a contact sport?
No.
So the neck pillow didn't have anything to do with the game of beer pong?
No.
It was just to be funny?
Yeah.
And at some point, did you also put on a motorcycle helmet?
I did.
And did you bring that with you?
No.
And where did you find that?
Next to the beer pong table, there was a shelf with a whole bunch of random items.
Okay. And is that where you also found the neck pillow?
Yes.
You put both of those things on?
Yes.
And how long did you have those things on while you were playing this game?
The motorcycle helmet, we were kind of passing it around as like a good luck thing when we were shooting in beer pong.
Okay.
It was off and on.
Okay. So you would take it off, you would pass it to whoever else was up to bat, so to speak?
Yes.
And the neck pillow, was that something that you also passed around, or were you the only one wearing that?
No, I was the only one wearing that.
How long were you there at the party just engaged in this behavior you've described?
About an hour and a half.
And after an hour and a half, did there come a time when some people arrived that you were not familiar with?
Yes.
And how did you become aware of these people?
We were by the door, as that side of the beer pong table was by the door of the garage, and they came up.
When you say they came up, what did you see?
Two kids arrived and came up to the door.
And what did those two kids do?
At first, they just said that they were invited by Austin Leifer.
Objections to what they said. Ask that it be stricken.
Portal strike the response that was provided to that question. So, ladies and gentlemen, jury, please delete that from your notes if you took a note, and otherwise don't consider it as evidence.
Did you know either of those two folks?
I did not.
And did it appear to you that other people in the party knew who those two people were?
No.
Did it appear to you that Jack Snyder knew who they were?
No.
Where was Jack Snyder at this point?
By the door.
Where was Tyler De Silva at this point?
By the door.
And did you see Jack Snyder interact with these two people who showed up?
First, yes.
What did you see Jack Snyder do at first?
Just conversate.
Did you see Tyler De Silva interact with these people?
At first, no.
And what was he doing?
We were still playing beer pong.
So you and Tyler De Silva were playing beer pong and Jack Snyder was interacting with these folks.
Yes.
And did there come a point when that interaction became aggressive between the two of them?
Yes.
And did there come a point when Mr. Snyder took a case of beer from one of the two?
Yes.
And what happened after that?
It moved out into the driveway, and then a fight started.
And when you say it moved out into the driveway and then a fight started, describe for us what people did once the group moved out into the driveway.
I can't really remember who all was around, but I remember Jack and the other kid were close to each other.
And did they square off with one another?
Yes.
Where were you when they squared off with one another?
Off to the side.
So, ladies and gentlemen, jury.
There come a time when some people arrived that you were not familiar with?
Yes.
And how did you become aware of these people?
We were by the door, as that side of the beer pong table was by the door of the garage, and they came up.
When you say they came up, what did you see?
Two kids arrived and came up to the door.
And what did those two kids do?
At first, they just said that they were invited by Austin Leifer.
Objection as to what they said. Ask that it be stricken.
Court will strike the response that was provided to that question. So, ladies and gentlemen, jury, please delete that from your notes if you took a note, and otherwise don't consider it as evidence.
Did you know either of those two folks?
I did not.
And did it appear to you that other people in the party knew who those two people were?
No.
Did it appear to you that Jack Snyder knew who they were?
No.
Where was Jack Snyder at this point?
By the door.
Where was Tyler De Silva at this point?
By the door.
And did you see Jack Snyder interact with these two people who showed up?
First, yes.
What did you see Jack Snyder do at first?
Just conversate.
Did you see Tyler De Silva interact with these people?
At first, no.
And what was he doing?
We were still playing beer pong.
So you and Tyler De Silva were playing beer pong and Jack Snyder was interacting with these folks.
Yes.
And did there come a point when that interaction became aggressive between the two of them?
Yes.
And did there come a point when Mr. Snyder took a case of beer from one of the two?
Yes.
And what happened after that?
It moved out into the driveway, and then a fight started.
And when you say it moved out into the driveway and then a fight started, describe for us what people did once the group moved out into the driveway.
I can't really remember who all was around, but I remember Jack and the other kid were close to each other.
And did they square off with one another?
Yes.
Where were you when they squared off with one another?
Off to the side.
Did you put the helmet on in order to go outside?
Objection.
No.
Leading.
Sustained. I'll strike the response, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
When you went outside, what were you wearing?
A motorcycle helmet and my regular clothes.
And when you got out to the driveway, were you engaged at all with Mr. Hines at that point?
No.
Was Mr. Snyder engaged with Mr. Hines at that point?
No.
But at some point you've described they started to square off.
Yes.
And what positions did the other people that were there take at that point?
They just started circling, like trying to get a better position on each other. I wasn't really paying attention to anybody else.
Okay. And did there come a time when you came into contact with one of them?
Yes.
Who was that?
Ryan Hines.
And how did you come in contact with Mr. Hines?
As he was circling, since I didn't have shoes on, he stepped on my foot and I pushed him.
You pushed him?
Yes.
Did you punch him?
No.
After you pushed him, did you continue to attack him?
No.
What did you do?
He tackled Jack and was beating on him while he was on the floor.
I'm sorry?
He was beating on him while he was on the floor.
Who was beating on him while he was on the floor?
Ryan was getting the better of Jack.
Ryan was getting the better of Jack? What happened next?
We went over to break it up. He wasn't getting off at first, so we started pulling him off.
You started pulling him off?
Yes.
Did you take off your helmet?
No.
Did you swing your helmet? Were you intending to fight Mr. Hines?
No.
Did you use your helmet in any way to attack Mr. Hines?
No.
As you were pulling, or as you were getting involved with this fight that's going on between Mr. Hines and Mr. Snyder, what were the other people doing?
There was a couple people watching. Tyler DeSilva was helping me break it up.
And what did you do?
Still was trying to pull him off.
By doing what? What were you doing with your hands? Describe for us what occurred.
I was grabbing him by his waist, trying to pull him off of Jack.
You were grabbing Mr. Hines by the waist?
Yes.
Were you punching him?
No.
Were you kicking him?
No.
Did anybody else come over to join you?
Other than Tyler DeSilva, no.
Did you see anybody filming this?
At the time, no.
Have you since, as we sat in the courtroom, seen a video of what appears to be the fight at 5 Lazy Brook?
Yes.
And did you see other people come over to join this breaking up of the fight?
Yes.
Did you know any of those other people?
Yes.
Who did you know?
Emily Robinson.
How did you know Emily Robinson?
Just seen her in school a few times. I really didn't know her.
Okay. And after the fight was broken up, what happened next?
Miss Leifer came outside.
Who's Miss Leifer?
The mom of Maddie Leifer.
Was she the homeowner?
Yes.
Had you met Miss Leifer before?
No.
And what did Miss Leifer do at that point?
She came up, snatched the beer from Jack that he was holding, and gave it back to the kid and said, "Get out of here."
And what else did she do, if anything?
At that time, she walked over to the garage and was able to see like how many people were actually at her house.
Okay. Did you go back to the party?
I did.
I'm sorry?
I did.
And how long did you remain at the party?
15 to 20 minutes.
Okay. And did you come to leave the party at some point?
I did.
And why did you leave the party?
Miss Leifer had shut it down.
How did you leave the party?
With Jack Snyder,
Anybody else?
Tyler DeSilva, my girlfriend at the time, Will Sinjwald needed a ride, so he came. Same with Keenan and Dimitri.
So there were, at that point, 7 of you in Mr. Snyder's car?
Yes.
Where were you seated in Mr. Snyder's car?
Behind the driver?
And Mr. Snyder was driving?
Yes.
And who was in the passenger seat?
Tyler DeSilva?
You were seated behind Mr. Snyder.
Yes.
And where was Miss Traficante seated?
Sit on my lap.
Who was beside you and Miss Traficante?
To my right, it was Will Sinjwald, and then to his right, it was Keenan.
To his right was Keenan Prasic.
Yes.
He was against the passenger side rear door.
Yes.
And where was Mr. Arfanis?
In the trunk.
Was there a plan at that point for what to do?
We're still kind of early in the night, so we were looking for another place to go if there was another party or where we were going to go next.
At that point, did you have any weapons on you?
No.
Were you planning to go fight anyone?
No.
Did you see anybody else in your group with weapons?
No.
What was Jack Snyder doing at this point?
Just driving?
Did you know where he was driving you to?
No.
What was Tyler De Silva doing at this point?
In the front talking to Jack?
Could you hear what they were saying?
No.
And what was the music like if it was on?
Loud?
And what were you doing at this point?
Just talking to my girlfriend and Will. Conversating.
And were you doing any texting at this point on your phone?
No.
Did you have your phone with you?
Yes.
Did other people have their cell phones with them?
Yes.
Could you see anybody on their cell phone at that point?
I saw Jack Snyder on and off his phone while driving.
And where did the car go?
We ended up at Trumbull High School.
You say you ended up at Trumbull High School. Is that someplace that you'd been before?
Only for football games.
As the car was driving, did you know that you were heading towards Trumbull High School?
No.
And what was going on when you arrived at Trumbull High School?
There was a couple cars from the party before that were also trying to figure out what to do.
And did Jack Snyder stop the car there?
Yes.
Did you see anyone there that you knew?
Yes.
Who?
The car closest to us was a car full of girls, and there was 3 of them that were in my grade.
Okay. Do you remember who they were?
I only remember the driver.
And who was that?
Maya Fagan.
I'm sorry?
Maya Fagan.
How did you know Maya Fagan?
She was a friend of mine in the same grade. She was also a cheerleader.
Did she know Ms. Trafficante?
Yes.
And did Mr. Snyder park the car?
Yes.
And what did the people in Mr. Snyder's car do?
A few people got out. No, I don't think anybody stayed in the car.
Did you get out of the car?
At one point, yes.
And did Ms. Trafficante get out of the car?
Yes.
And what did you do when you got out of the car?
Talked to the car full of girls.
Okay. And did you see what the other people were doing?
I saw Jack and Tyler go over to another car, and I can't remember what Dimitri and Keenan were doing.
You saw Jack and Tyler go over to another car?
Yes.
Do you know who was in that other car?
No.
Did there come a time when folks got back into Mr. Snyder's car?
Yes.
What led to people getting back into Mr. Snyder's car?
Everybody was getting back in their cars, and I was assuming we had someplace to go now.
You say you were assuming that you had someplace to go. Was there a plan at that point of where to go?
One of the girls in the other car had told me about a
Objection as to what they said.
Without telling us what anybody said, and as you understood it, was there a plan to go somewhere else at that point when you got back into Jack Snyder's car?
another party in Trumbull.
Another party in Trumbull.
Yes.
And did you at some point become aware of a group chat that was going on?
Yes.
What's good, brother? Good morning.
Do you,
Or
was this
good
a group
afternoon.
chat that you had created?
No.
Were you a part of this group chat?
Yes.
How did you become a part of this group chat?
I got added to it.
You got added to it? How did you know that you had been added to it?
As soon as you're added to a group chat and people are texting in it, you get a notification that pops up.
And did you get a notification?
Yes.
What, when you got that notification, did you look at your phone?
Yes.
And what was the nature of the texts that were going back and forth on this group chat?
There was a lot of people in it, and they were just talking crap to each other back and forth.
Did you know any of the people that were in that group chat?
Yes.
Who?
A couple of my friends I noticed were in there from my football team. Some kids that weren't even around, they were at farmhouses in different states or stuff like that.
Did you ask Jack Snyder or Tyler
So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. I've been going hard, I ain't geeking yet. I've been waiting long for the wrong ends. I'm the brightest star, you can see me fall. Got a lot of snakes, just a garden state. Hit me for a play, need to know the stakes. Catch me in the stew, trying to ride a plaid. Yeah, they hear me talking, they don't know he black. And it's different when you see me, there's a word for that. One thing I'm for certain, it's them curtains, they gon' close. So living while you're hurting, yeah, that shit's a big no-no. And once upon a time, I pirated sublime. I can't even say when we started to say slime. Cause all I can remember is that tingle from my spine. The walls are pouring over and I think I'm gonna cry. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. Once upon a time, our pirate is sublime. I can't even say when we started to say slime. Cause all I can remember is that tingle from my spine. The walls are pouring over and I think I'm gonna cry. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. I've been going hard, I ain't geeking yet. I've been waiting long for the wrong ends. I'm the brightest star, you can see me fall. Got a lot of snakes, just a garden state. Hit me for a play, need to know the stakes. Catch me in the stew, trying to ride a plaid. Yeah, they hear me talking, they don't know he black. And it's different when you see me, there's a word for that. One thing I'm for certain, it's them curtains, they gon' close. So living while you're hurting, yeah, that shit's a big no-no. And once upon a time, I pirated sublime. I can't even say when we started to say slime. Cause all I can remember is that tingle from my spine. The walls are pouring over and I think I'm gonna cry. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. But once upon a time, I say when we started to say slime. Cause all I can remember is that tingle from my spine. The walls are pouring over and I think I'm gonna cry. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. Yeah. I've been going hard, I ain't geeking yet. I've been waiting long for the wrong ends. I'm the brightest star, you can see me fall. Got a lot of snakes, just a garden state. Hit me for a play, need to know the stakes. Catch me in the stew, trying to ride a flag. Yeah, they hear me talking, they don't know he black. And it's different when you see me, there's a word for that. One thing I'm for certain, it's them curtains, they gon' close. So living while you're hurting, yeah, that shit's a big no-no. And once upon a time, I pirated sublime. I can't even say when we started to say slime. Cause all I can remember is that tingle from my spine. The walls are pouring over and I think I'm gonna cry. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. But once upon a time, I pirated sublime. I can't even say when we started to say slime. Cause all I can remember is that tingle from my spine. The walls are pouring over and I think I'm gonna cry. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. So much left to say, it's such a shame that I won't say it. Please move out my way before my eighth and you share names. I've bottled up my hate and sold it off just like my pain. And grandma, she's been great, I hear her baby's on the way.
De Silva to add you to the group chat?
No.
Did you ask anyone to add you to the group chat?
No.
And what was the tone of the group chat?
Not positive. It was just people talking shit to each other, pretty much.
Did you participate in the group chat after you were added?
Yes.
What was the nature of your participation in the group chat?
Around the same time we were leaving Trumbull High School, I texted in it.
Do you recall how many texts you sent?
No.
Do you recall how many texts you received?
No.
This occurred while you were leaving Trumbull High School?
Around the same time, yeah.
Did there come a point when you realized that you were not going to another party in Trumbull?
Yes.
How did you come to realize that you weren't going to another party in Trumbull?
After driving for a little bit, Jack had turned down the music, and I asked him where we were going.
And what did you learn from Jack at that point?
He said,
Objection as to what he said.
Staying next to what Jeff said.
I asked what he learned.
You just can't tell us what Jeff said. Okay, it's what you learned upon speaking.
So what did you learn from Jack about where you were going or where he was driving the car?
we were going to a house in Shelton,
And do you recall what the address of the house in Shelton was?
43 Laurel Glen.
Was that an address that you had seen in the group chat?
Yes.
Was that an address that you were familiar with before having seen it in the group chat?
No.
Had you ever been to 43 Laurel Glen Drive before?
No.
Did you know whose home that was?
No.
Did you remain in the group chat?
No.
When you say no, did you leave the group chat?
Yes.
And how do you leave a group chat?
You click on the top, and then there's a little drop down that you can click leave.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
Why did you leave the group chat?
While they were going back and forth, there was a picture sent into the group chat.
What was that picture?
It was just a group of kids, and upon looking at the picture, I noticed that I recognized a few of the kids that were in the picture.
And how did you recognize those kids that were in the picture?
A couple of the kids, I wouldn't say I was friends with, but I had seen them at other parties, drank together, stuff like that.
Did you recognize any of those kids from 5 Lazy Brook?
I don't remember.
Did you understand that those were the same kids that were texting the address of 43 Laurel Glen Drive?
Yes.
Were those kids that you saw in that selfie kids from St. Joe's?
No.
Why did seeing that picture cause you to leave the group chat?
I don't want problems with people I'm like cool with.
Did Mr. Snyder continue to participate in the group chat?
Objection, he says he left, so how would he know?
If you know,
There's no foundation.
we could know, I just don't know. So I'll overrule it if you know.
At the time, I did not know.
Did you know if Mr. De Silva continued to participate in the group chat?
At the time, I did not know.
And what were you doing at this point in the car?
Talking to Will, I think we were drinking. I can't really remember.
Where was Miss Traficante at this point?
Still on my lap.
And did anyone in the car indicate that they knew where Mr. Snyder was driving?
No?
Did Mr. Snyder appear upset to you?
A little bit.
When you say a little bit, what about his appearance indicated to you that he was upset?
At Trumbull High School, there was a few people like teasing him for basically losing.
Did Mr. De Silva appear upset to you in the car?
No.
Did Miss Traficante appear upset to you in the car?
No.
Did Mr. Sinjwald, our Arfanis or Mr. Frasick appear upset to you while they were in the car?
No.
Did you notice another car following your car?
No.
And did Mr. Snyder ultimately drive the car somewhere and stop?
Yes.
Did you recognize where that was?
No.
What did you see when the car stopped?
I saw a yard, and then kids started coming up to the car.
When you say you saw a yard, had you ever been to that house before?
No.
Did Mr. Snyder indicate to you that he knew the people that were at this house where you'd stopped?
No.
Did Mr. De Silva indicate to you that he knew the people at this house where he'd stopped?
I'm going to object at this point. It's leading, and it calls for almost like a hearsay response as to what they indicated to him.
I will overrule it based on the form of the question.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Did you have any indication that Mr. Snyder or Mr. De Silva knew any of the folks that were at this house?
Definitely not Jack. I think maybe Tyler said something.
Do you see behind you an exhibit that's up there on the easel?
Yes.
May I approach you and I just need a refresher on what it is. So on the easel behind you, Mr. Valle, is States Exhibit 52. Do you see that?
Yes.
And do you recognize that as the address which Mr. Snyder parked his car at?
At the time, you couldn't really see much, so now
Okay.
I'm...
Well, can you put us there? Describe for us what could you see when you arrived there?
I wasn't really looking around. The only thing I saw was kids coming up to the car.
And how many kids did you see coming up to the car?
I want to say it was like rows of people. There was about 10. And then at the max, it was probably 30.
And what did these people that you saw do?
At first, I had my window rolled up. I didn't know if I saw anybody I knew. Jack started conversating. Tyler started conversating. And then I saw somebody I recognized.
Who did you recognize?
Ricky Fiola.
How did you recognize Ricky Fiola?
I've drank with him before at parties. Just hung out with him a couple times at parties that we were both invited to.
And these people, did they stay on the driver's side of the vehicle?
No,
Where did they go?
all around the car.
Did they surround the car?
Yes.
Objection, leading.
Oh,
Did these people go in the front of the car?
Yes.
Did these people go on the passenger side of the car?
Yes.
Did these people go in the rear of the car?
Yes.
Did you feel surrounded by these people?
Yes.
Once these people were on all sides of the car, what did Jack Snyder do, if anything?
I couldn't really hear his conversation. I was having my own conversation, so At that time, nothing.
Where was Ms. Traficante at that point?
Still on my lap.
Okay. Did there come a time when she was no longer on your lap?
Only when we got out of the car.
Do you recall her climbing into the trunk area of the vehicle?
No.
Where was Mr. Sinjwald?
Still to my right.
Where was Mr. Arfanis?
Still in the trunk.
And where was Mr. Frasick?
Still in the rear passenger.
And the conversation that you've described Mr. Snyder as having, without telling us what he was saying, how would you describe the tone of that conversation he was having?
At first, it was fine. And then it got really aggressive.
What about it was really aggressive?
There was a few kids shouting at him.
A few kids?
Yes.
And what was, you've described Mr. De Silva as having a conversation. What was the nature of that conversation like?
His was also peaceful.
And did it remain peaceful?
Yes.
And you said you were having a conversation.
Yes.
Was that a peaceful conversation?
Yes.
Did that remain peaceful?
Yes.
Did you throw anything outside the window of your car?
No.
Did you see Mr. Snyder throw anything outside the car?
No.
Did you see Mr. De Silva throw anything outside the car?
No.
Did you see anyone inside your vehicle throw anything outside the car?
No.
Are you certain that people were on all sides of the vehicle?
Yes.
And you've described at least one of these conversations as taking a turn and becoming more aggressive. When you say more aggressive, you described yelling.
Yes.
And could you see the faces of the people that were outside the vehicle?
No.
Could you hear threats?
Not that I can remember.
Could you see people hitting the car?
Yes.
What did that feel like inside the car?
It's weird to describe. I've never been in a situation like that. They were just punching and kicking and hitting the car from everywhere.
On all sides of the vehicle?
Yes.
Could you tell if things were being thrown at the car?
At the time, all I heard was the banging and stuff.
Loud bangs?
Yes.
Did you hear glass shattering?
No.
When you got in the vehicle that evening with Mr. Snyder, did you see a shatter in the windshield?
No.
Did you see Mr. Snyder with any weapons at that point?
No.
Could you see what was in Mr. Snyder's lap?
No.
Did you have a weapon?
No.
Did you have anything in your hands?
No.
Could you feel the car begin to rock?
Yes.
And did you see anybody on the rear bumper?
No, I didn't look backwards.
Did you begin to worry?
Yes.
Did you begin to feel unsafe?
I'm going to object. This is leading.
How were you feeling as the car was rocking and the hands were hitting the car and other things were hitting the car?
Nervous and a bit of panic.
You say a bit of a panic. Had you ever been that panicked before?
No.
Did you feel like you could get out of the car?
No.
Leading.
I'll allow that, but just keep an eye on the leading questions.
Why didn't you feel like you could get out of the car?
Because there were so many people surrounding the car.
Could you see the faces of the other people in your car?
The only face I remember looking at was Tyler.
What did Tyler's face look like?
Pretty scared.
Do you remember what Ms. Traficante was doing at that point?
No, I don't remember.
Did it seem to you that the situation in the car was calming down.
No.
I'm gonna.
Debate objection, counsel, but I would have sustained the objection. I'll allow the answer to stand.
Had you ever been in a car before while it was being attacked?
No.
What sorts of things did you worry about as you sat there with the car surrounded and being rocked?
Mainly that they were going to break the windows
Why did you worry that they were going to break the windows?
as they were punching them.
Did you worry that anything else might happen if they broke the windows?
At the time, I was just wondering why Jack wasn't driving.
Could you tell if the car was still on at that point?
Yes, it was.
How did you think it was going to end at that point?
Objection. That calls for speculation.
Sustained.
What did you expect was going to happen next?
That they were going to break the windows.
Did you have a plan if they did that?
No.
Anything about the demeanor of the people on the outside of the car lead you to believe that they were going to stop?
I'm going to object. That calls for speculation as well.
I'll overrule it.
No.
And did you see anyone in your car with a weapon at that time?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
At some point, did Jack finally move the car?
Yes.
And where did it go?
Straight.
Did you know where you were?
No.
Had you ever been in that neighborhood before?
No.
And did Jack ever stop the car?
Yes.
Could you see anyone outside the car when Jack stopped the vehicle?
No.
May I approach again, Your Honor? Take this one down from behind you. You're looking at their State's Exhibit 1. When Jack stopped the vehicle, do you have the pointer there with you? Can you use that pointer to show us on State's Exhibit 1 where you remember him stopping the vehicle? Your Honor, can the record reflect that the witness has pointed to the area just before the intersection of Farmhouse Lane and Laurel Glen Drive in front of what has been identified before as 36 Laurel Glen Drive?
All right, so noted on the record. Thank you.
And what did you do when Jack stopped the car?
My girlfriend at the time was crying and asking to get out.
Question is, what did you do when Jack stopped the car?
I got out.
Did it seem safe to get out at that point?
Yes.
Did you see anyone from the house that you had just left at that point?
No.
And where did you go when you got out?
Side of the road.
Can you show us on Exhibit 1 there which side of the road? May the record reflect, Your Honor, that the witness is pointing to the side of the road opposite from what has previously been identified as 36 Laurel Glen Drive.
So noted on the record. Thank you.
Did anyone else get out with you at that point?
Yes.
Who?
Tyler De Silva and my girlfriend at the time, Mackenzie.
Okay. Did anybody else get out?
No.
And when Mr. De Silva got out, where did he go?
At first, he was right next to me.
And when Ms. Trafficante got out, where did she go?
She went to the end of the road.
And so, in your recollection, the other occupants of Mr. Snyder's vehicle did not get out of the car?
No.
Where did Mr. Snyder drive the car at that point?
Straight.
Did you see where he went?
No.
Could you see any of the folks from 43 Laurel Glen Drive, the house that you had left?
No.
At some point, did you see any of those folks again?
Yes.
When was that?
When they came running down the road.
And what were they doing when you saw them come running down the road?
I believe screaming and just running.
Were they throwing anything?
Yes.
Do you recall what they were throwing?
I believe only one person threw like a water bottle.
Did it hit you?
No.
Did it hit anything?
I believe it hit the car, but I wasn't really looking.
Did you have any interactions with the kids from 43 Laurel Glen Drive?
Yes.
Who do you recall interacting with from 43 Laurel Glen Drive?
Tyler Rich and Ricky Fiola.
And when you were interacting with Tyler Rich, what was that interaction like?
At first, he just ran past me and chased the car until it fully drove off. And after that, they all kind of started walking away. He was kind of asked people to walk away.
Okay. Did you have any one-on-one interactions with Mr. Rich?
Yes.
What happened between you and Mr. Rich?
As he was walking away, he came up to me and sprayed WD-40 in my eye.
Did you do anything to him when he sprayed WD-40 in your eyes?
No.
Had you done anything to him prior to him spraying you in the eyes with WD-40?
No.
Did you see the can close enough to be able to identify it as WD-40?
Yes.
What did you do after he sprayed you in the eyes with the WD-40?
I started holding my eye.
Did you attack him?
No.
Did you have a weapon on you at that point?
Yes.
You did.
Yes.
What weapon did you have on you at that point?
I had a knife in my pocket.
Where did you get the knife from?
Before Jack left, he tossed it to me.
Okay, let's back it up a little bit. Before Jack left,
Yes.
when did Jack leave?
When he dropped off me, Mackenzie, and Tyler at the end of the road.
Before the Shelton High kids came?
Yes.
Put us there. Tell me how Mr. Snyder gives you this knife.
Mackenzie exited the vehicle. I got out right behind her, and then Tyler got out from the passenger. Me and Tyler were standing on the side of the road. Right before Jack's about to drive off, he says,
Objection as to what he says.
You can't tell us what anybody else says. You can tell us what they did.
he tossed the knife.
And what did you do when he tossed the knife?
At first, it hit me and then fell on the floor. I picked it up and said, "What are you giving me a knife for?"
And what did Mr. Snyder do at that point?
He said,
Objection. Hearsay.
Can't tell us what Mr. Snyder said.
Your Honor, I would claim it not for the truth of the matter so much as the effect on the listener.
I'm going to lay the foundation for that because I'm going to ask the jury to leave just to move the jury. To back into the jury for a few moments. Thank you. All right, I ask the jury to exit because, as we've often stated before, phrase that we like to use, because we can't, it's difficult to unring the bell. So you're claiming this as not being offered for the truth of the matter. I'll see an offer of proof on that outside the presence of the jury.
Your Honor, he's just described what sounds like a surprising, unplanned event, and somebody has just thrown a knife at him, he claims. I'm not sure what he's going to tell us Mr. Snyder said to him at that point, but given the circumstances of the situation that he has described, I think it's important in a case where we're talking about what his intent was, in particular what his intent was with this knife, that we've already had other testimony about Mr. Snyder giving to him, and Mr. Snyder's version of what happened in that account. I think it's important to know what the effect was on him when he said this.
I don't know what he said. I know that the question was why. Why did you give me that is what he asked.
Yes.
And then his response was starting with, he said.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what would be the effect on the defendant at that point in time?
Right. As far as understanding what he was thinking when Mr. Snyder gave him this, and what Mr. Snyder is telling him as far as why he is giving that to him. I think in this situation and under these circumstances, again, whether or not it's true, whatever Mr. Snyder said to him, what the effect on him was.
Why don't you establish outside the presence of the jury right now what the effect was on the listener, the defendant, from hearing whatever the statement is before I make a decision, and then I'll be heard by the state.
You've told us that Mr. Snyder gave you.
Excuse me.
Make sure your cell phones are on silent, please. You've been asked repeatedly. Thank you.
Thank you.
You told us that you had just been thrown the knife by Mr. Snyder, and you asked him, "What did you give me this for?" Right?
Yes.
And you were about to tell us what Mr. Snyder's response was, correct?
Yes.
What was his response?
He said something along the lines of "just in case," and then he sped off.
All right. And what effect did that have on you when he said, "just in case"?
Confused.
And did that increase your sense of danger with the situation?
I'm going to object to that. He just said he was confused.
I'll sustain it. So the response was confused. I mean, if that's the effect on the listener that you're looking for, I'll hear from the state on that.
I don't think that it's even relevant at this point. If he's confused, he should just say, he could testify to whatever he's testifying to, and at that point, I felt confused. I don't think the statement of what Mr. Snyder says comes in for effect on listener at this point. And to me, I'm concerned with it. We're really bootstrapping here because we want to hear what he says Jack said for its truth, and that's the concern, right? So, Snyder testified. Defense counsel could have asked him what was said, and I believe he may have asked him what was said, and Mr. Snyder actually said no. The defendant asked him for the knife. So now we're getting into this bootstrapping of hearsay statements and trying to guise it under effect on listener. The response is what the response is. Now he felt confused, so to me it doesn't come in for the effect on listener. That can be elicited without the hearsay response.
I have to agree. You can ask him how he was feeling at that point in time to extract from the witness that he felt confused. So the court is having a difficult time understanding the relevance of that particular hearsay statement. Court's going to sustain the objection to the hearsay statement.
Understood.
Thanks. I need jury back in. You can leave the door open, please. Thank you. Waiting on one door. Thank you. Counsel, please stipulate to the return of our jurors.
State will stipulate, Your Honor.
Defense stipulates, Your Honor.
Court notes return of all jurors. All right, I believe that when the jury left, the question pending was what? That was the response.
Okay. And how did you feel when he threw that knife to you?
Confused.
And what did you do with the knife?
Put it in my pocket.
Do you remember which pocket?
My right pocket.
And did you have that knife on you when Mr. Rich sprayed you with the WD-40?
Yes.
Did you at any point go into the bushes along the road there?
No.
You remained on the curb?
Yes.
Could you see where Mr. Snyder drove off to?
I just saw the car take off straight.
Did it go out of your field of vision?
Yeah, right as he sped off, I heard the kids screaming and running down the road, so I turned my attention to that.
And did there come a point in time when Mr. Snyder returned?
Yes.
And what happened when Mr. Snyder returned?
All the kids that ran down had already left. He came back and everybody got out of the car.
Other than the interaction with Mr. Rich, did you have an interaction with any of the other Shelton kids while you were down there on the side of the road?
Yes.
Who else was that?
Ricky Fiola.
And what was that interaction like?
He saw Tyler Rich spray me with the WD-40 and he came up to me.
Did he do anything to you?
Just talk to me and, like, I guess make me feel better about the situation.
When the vehicle came back, did Mr. Snyder park the car?
Yes.
Can you show us on Exhibit 1 behind you where he parked the car? May the record reflect he has indicated, the witness has indicated on Exhibit 1 that Mr. Snyder parked the car in front of what's previously been identified as 36 Laurel Glen Drive.
Portal, go ahead and note that for the record. Thank you.
What did Mr. De Silva do at that point?
Me and Jack started inspecting the car.
And what did you do at that point?
I was still rubbing my eye.
What did the other occupants of the vehicle do at that point, if anything?
Mackenzie was still sitting in the same spot she was previously. I can't remember where Keenan and Dimitri were. I believe they were also standing by her.
Were you upset at that point?
Yeah.
What were you upset about?
And I got sprayed with WD-40 for no reason.
Were you angry?
No, more confused on why he did it.
Did you know Tyler Rich prior to that?
Yes.
How did you know Tyler Rich prior to that?
Same as all the other kids I knew from Shelton. Seen him at parties, drank with them before.
But you'd never been to that house before?
No.
Did you know that that was Tyler Rich's house?
No.
Were you still scared at that point?
Yeah.
Were you more scared or more confused?
More confused.
What did you do next?
I walked over to where my girlfriend was sitting.
Where was she sitting?
The same spot at the end of the road on the curb.
And what was her demeanor like?
She was really upset.
Did you, at some point, go over to inspect the car?
No.
What did you do next?
I asked Mackenzie for a ride home from her sister.
And was her sister present?
No.
And what did you do after you asked her for a ride home with her sister?
Started waiting there.
Where were you waiting?
By my girlfriend and by the car.
Can you point out to us on the exhibit where that was? Had she remained in the same position during the course of these events at the end of the road that you've been describing to us?
Yes.
And what was she doing while she was waiting on the curb? Could you see?
She had her head down, like in between her legs, looking at her phone.
And what happened next?
Tyler and Jack started talking about going back.
Where were you at that point?
Close enough to hear them.
How far away?
Want to say 5 feet?
Away from them?
Yes.
And what happened next?
Tyler started saying,
Objection calls for hearsay.
Well, the answer seems as though it's providing hearsay, so the question was what happened next. Sustained the objection to the extent that the witness is going to respond with what someone stated.
Your Honor, may I remind the witness that he can't tell us? So, again, listen to the nature of my question, okay? You can't tell us what somebody else has said, okay? So, you were telling us what was happening at that point, okay? Can you tell us what you saw Mr. Snyder do?
Talk to Tyler De Silva.
And what was Mr. Snyder's demeanor like when he was talking to Mr. De Silva?
Agreeing with him.
Did he appear excited or upset or calm?
Couldn't really tell.
And Mr. De Silva, what did his demeanor appear like to you?
Confident.
I'm sorry?
Confident.
He appeared confident?
Yeah.
Mr. Valle, I don't mean to be rude, but do you understand the word demeanor?
Yeah.
How did his face appear?
He didn't really seem too worried.
Did Mr. Snyder appear not too worried as well?
Yes.
Okay.
My son's laying
And
down, so I'll
at
be
some
turning the mic on
point,
for a little bit.
did they get back into the vehicle?
I don't want
Yes.
him screaming.
Who got into the vehicle first?
Jack.
And did he get into the
I don't
drive?
know if I like this kid's lawyer though. I mean, I don't know. From the beginning, I just feel like he hasn't really been the best.
Driver's side?
Yes.
And
Also-
did Mr. De Silva get back into the vehicle?
Yes.
Raul over
Where
here
did he get into the
doesn't
vehicle?
seem to be the brightest,
Passenger.
clearly.
And did you ultimately get back into the vehicle?
Yes.
Why did you get back into that vehicle?
I was asked to by Tyler.
Objection. I would ask that it be stricken.
All right, so the jury, if you wrote that down, please remove it from your notepads. Court is striking the last response concerning he was asked by someone else, okay? So that does not qualify or classify as evidence in this case, all right? Thank you.
When you got back into that vehicle, what were you thinking?
I trusted my best friend that everything was going to be okay and we were just going to go and make peace.
Did you understand that there was some plan to go and make peace in this situation?
I'm going to object. That's leading.
Sustained.
You've just said that you trusted your friend to make peace.
Yes.
Objection. He did not say that.
Yes, he did.
So I would ask that it be stricken.
He did say
This is
that.
leading.
All right, so I will strike the response, which was yes, sustaining the objection.
But he did say that.
Yeah.
What?
You got back into that vehicle last.
Yes.
Where did you get back into that vehicle?
Behind the driver.
Behind the driver?
Yes.
And did you still have the knife on you?
Yes.
Was it open?
No.
Where was it?
Still in my pocket.
Still in your right pocket?
Yes.
Did you have your hand in the pocket?
No.
Were you scared to get back in that car?
A little bit.
Where did you think the car was going to go?
Back down to the house.
Did you think that was a good idea?
At the time, few interactions had already been peaceful here and there, so it didn't seem like the worst idea in the world at the time.
You understood that Ms. Trafficante was not going to be getting back in that car?
Yes.
Did you think it was a good idea to leave her there?
Yes.
Why?
There was other people with her, and her sister was on the way.
Were you upset or angry as you got into that car?
I'm gonna object. It's asked and answered.
At the time that he got into the car, I don't believe that we've been to that location yet, so I'll overrule it.
Can you repeat the question?
When you got back into that car, were you upset or angry?
No.
Not about your eyes being sprayed with WD-40?
No.
And did Jack Snyder drive the car back to 43 Laurel Glen Drive?
He did.
What was that drive there like?
Nobody said anything?
Was the music on?
No.
Was it a fast drive?
I can't remember.
And did Jack Snyder ultimately stop his car at the same house as before?
Yes.
Did you see any people in the yard?
Yes.
How many?
At first, they were far back in the yard, so I want to say 10.
You say at first they were far back in the yard. Were there any on the curb or near the street?
No.
And you could see 10 people in the yard?
Well, yeah.
Did you recognize any of those people?
No.
Did they remain where they were?
Yes.
What did Tyler DeSilva do when the car stopped?
He opened his door and got out.
What did Jack Snyder do when the car stopped?
Nothing.
Where did Tyler DeSilva go when he got out of the car?
As soon as he got out, he started walking onto the lawn.
Walking?
Yes.
Not running.
No.
Did you stay in the car?
No.
What did you do?
As soon as Tyler got out, I got out.
Why?
It's my friend. I knew a couple people there. I was just going to help ease the situation, I guess.
Where was the knife?
In my pocket.
Did you have a hand on it?
No.
Fuck.
Where did Tyler DeSilva go as you were following him out of the car?
We started walking up the yard.
May I approach you? On the easel is States Exhibit 52. I'll ask you to use that pointer that you have and show us where you saw the initial 10 kids in the yard.
It's kind of out of the frame.
Out of the frame?
Yeah.
But you could see them from where the car parked?
Yeah.
Where did Jack Snyder park the car? When you got out of the vehicle, was there anything blocking your path to the yard?
I got out from this side, so no.
You got out from the driver's side?
Yeah.
And walked around the car? So when you got out of the car, did you lose sight of Mr. DeSilva?
For a second or two.
So you came following behind him?
Yeah.
And where did Mr. DeSilva go when he got out of the car?
We started walking up the yard.
Can you show us his path of travel?
We got out right here. There was a car here, so we went.
And he went onto the grass?
Yeah.
And where did he go once he got on the grass, if anywhere?
I met him around this area, and we started to walk up, and we were approached by somebody right here.
Did you get up to where the red bush is?
No.
Did you get up to where the black truck is?
No.
Did you get any further than where the tree is in the middle of Exhibit 52?
Yes.
Where did you get up to?
Probably around.
And so you got just past where the tree is?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
After we were approached by the first person, which was a girl, she moved out of the way, and then we were approached by Tyler Rich and a whole bunch of other people.
And how many people were you approached by that included Tyler Rich?
At first, they were all in front of us. I'd say it was about 30 people spread out in a line almost.
And when you met Mr. DeSilva on the grass as you came around the car, did he indicate to you in any way that he was surprised that you had followed him?
No.
Did he indicate in any way to you that he did not want you to follow him?
No.
told us that you recognized Tyler Rich as one of the people that had approached you.
Yes.
Did you recognize anyone else?
No.
Did the people, you've described them as being in sort of a line, did they stay in one area?
No.
What did they do?
Shortly after we were both in our own conversations, they started to surround us.
And you say you were both in your own conversations. Do you mean Mr. De Silva and yourself? How close were you standing to Mr. De Silva when you were confronted by these other folks?
At first, we were right next to each other.
You say at first. Did there come a time when you got separated?
Yeah.
And so, who or how many people was Mr. De Silva engaged with?
At first, we were all talking to the same amount of people. And then, after a little while, when I looked to my left, there was a wall of people blocking me from Tyler.
Okay. Let's break it down a little bit. You've said at first you could see Mr. De Silva was talking to the same amount of people as you were.
Yeah.
How many people was Mr. De Silva talking to?
Directly, 10. There was a lot of kids around, though.
And was he talking to any one person in particular?
Yes.
Who was that, if you know? Were there other people with Mr. Rich?
Yes.
How close were they standing to Mr. Rich?
Side by side.
You described them as forming a wall.
Yeah.
And how many people were you engaged with at that point?
Before or after they surrounded me?
Let's take it frame by frame. You've described Mr. De Silva talking with a group of people, and you said you were talking with a number of people as well. At that point, how many people were you engaged with?
I was directly talking to about 4 to 5 people.
And how many people, were there people behind them?
I feel like all the
Right
other
next to
children
them.
involved,
Were they shoulder to
especially
shoulder?
because all the other children, for the
And
most
where
part,
were these people
from the same
positioned,
school.
if you can show us on the
I feel like they
example
all
here?
are kind of throwing this kid under the bus. They're trying to make it seem like he just.
And did they stay just in front of you?
No.
What
They're
did
trying
they
to
do?
make themselves seem a lot less
They
involved, especially by
started to surround me.
making it seem like he went to the
Did
car
you
himself
have-
to get the
how
knife,
were you
as
wearing your
opposed to
shirt at this
someone
point?
giving it to him
Formally?
specifically.
Did you ever at any point pull it up over
And it
your
seems
head?
like
Oh.
the
Where was the knife at this point?
plaintiff
In my pocket.
testimony or the state's testimony.
Did
it's
you have your
like
hands in your pockets?
Every
No.
every witness
How were you feeling at
sort of
this
said
point?
the same thing in a very rehearsed way,
Nervous.
especially the last
Why were you feeling
one of the
nervous?
last of the state's
Because
witnesses,
there was a lot of people just
which was a
surrounding me.
female classmate of theirs who is a criminal law major now, because this all happened when they were 16 and they're in their 20s now. And her whole entire just everything was so just rehearsed. It was terrible. I don't know. She gave me the feeling that this whole thing was just
4:45. Do you have a few additional questions, or is this a good time to break?
hanging of sorts.
If Your Honor is inclined to take a break, I suppose this is as good a place as any to take one.
Court's going to go ahead and move towards adjourning for the day, so I'm going to interrupt the direct testimony of before I do actually adjourn on the record. Once again, I'll remind ladies and gentlemen to speak to about this particular case. There have been multiple locations that have been mentioned. Do not go to any of those locations. Do not attempt to perform any of your own experiment or research or investigation. It's adjourned.
That's the end of it. That is the end of it. Okay. Interesting though.
First time I heard that Diddy like penetrated her in the public because they always said that he would go to the other room and make love to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dean Phillip was hitting it. Puff was standing there. He said, "Yo, move. Sit on the couch."
Yeah.
Dude got up, sat on the couch, and Puff started hitting it. And homeboy said he got jealous of Puff hitting it. He loved.
He got
Cassie.
jealous of Puff hitting his own girl.
He got jealous of Puff.
Hitting his own girl.
Cause he fell in love with Cassie. So did the Punisher. They both loved her.
Did you notice that?
Or was attracted to her, or liked her, or whatever. Maybe not love.
I noticed that Diddy, and this, I think it's because he also trained him, Paul Arthur. This seemed to be Diddy's favorite male entertainer.
Wasn't that
companion.
his personal trainer too?
Also, yes, because he would pay his personal training, Zelle or Cash App was like Paul Arthur trainer or whatever, something like that. But Paul also got served by the HSI. Do you remember that? The first HSI agent showed us a picture of Paul Arthur. I did not know who it was, but then Daily Mail discovered who he was.
And Jane Doe testified she liked Paul.
Yes, and she said
she
that she had the best.
Paul and Cabral.
Yes. Oh, she. Well. Yes.
So she
was
developed.
loving Cabral.
Right. She was letting them niggas hit it whenever, when Puff wasn't around.
Well, I felt like Diddy really seemed to like Paul Arthur because he would say, he sent him a text and he said, "I wish you were here." And then another part, he said, "You can go stay at my house. I'm not home. You can go hang out there." It was
Who said that?
Diddy said it to Paul Arthur. When the evidence comes out, or check the transcript, but that's text and evidence. But
wait,
yeah, it's interesting. I was like, okay, they're not hinting that he was gay or anything, but I did sort of notice that he had his go-to. Jane had her go-to, which was Cabral. Let me
ask you a question. And I remember these came out on exhibits. And by the way, shout out to Puff Team. Like Puff Team hit me early. Not this stream, but they had given me, because the government are selective. It's all a game. The government is selective with the exhibits that they're releasing. Or I don't know how it's working at the court. So Diddy's team they have a shared file they share with certain people in the media, and they're like, go read all Cassie text. Go see if she wanted it or not. And I ain't gonna lie, the text I read, Cassie was with that shit. But
100%.
Here's the thing. I'm wondering why, when it comes to like, why was Diddy was so upset about Alex Fine? If you're saying that he was cool with one of his other trainers hitting it, why was he so upset that Alex Fine was hitting it?
It was without him.
Paul was with Jane Doe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
not Cassie.
Paul was with Jane Doe.
So maybe he got used to it by that time. The trainer gonna hit it.
No, Paul never was with Cassie.
Paul was
ever.
never with
You're
Cassie.
talking about Cassie's
Yeah,
husband, Alex,
but still though, like a guy who's into voyeurism or
He didn't
a
care
couple
nothing
there.
about Jane
This
Doe.
is correct. This
He
is
wouldn't
correct.
even let her. She took a picture of them eating one time and posted it on Instagram. He made her take it down.
Yeah. He
And
didn't-
that's what she knew she was compartmentalized. Yet Young Miami could post whatever they wanted. Gina, anybody could post whatever they wanted except her. He wouldn't let her post nothing on his Instagram of them two ever being together.
That's like such an interesting thing because she must have felt like really low. She's, her baby father's a really popular guy. She probably was just like, this guy is treating me like I ain't shit.
I mean,
She couldn't post nothing with her and Puff. Nothing, zero. She posted something one time. He told her, take it down. Take it down.
I have
What's
an
your theory?
opinion that, and this sounds, I feel guilty saying this just because it's
Come on,
about
Lauren,
another
get it
woman.
out, girl. Come on
I know.
now.
I feel like if another rapper, somebody in hip hop had approached Jane between, let's say, 2022 and 2024, that would have left Diddy, and she would have gone with this person. Because, about her saying, I couldn't leave because of the house, whatever. Well, if I don't even know names. If Drake approached her and was like,
But
I
ain't
want
the
to be
same
with
with
you.
Cassie though.
No,
Cassie.
I think Cassie was in love with
No.
Diddy,
You're
and,
right though. You're right though. But listen, and I remember this. This stuck out in my mind. Cassie was talking to I think it was Mia or Capricorn Clark, and they said, "Why don't you leave this nigga?" And she said, "Who else am I gonna be with? Jay-Z got a girl." Meaning, and I took that as, "Oh, you think you could only be with a mogul?" She says, "Who else am I gonna be with?" Like there was no other options. She says Jay-Z already got a girl.
Well, clearly she didn't really feel like that because she dated other people.
Yeah, she would
at the
fuck him, but
same
she would leave.
time.
She
still dated them because Diddy was always, like, she was always in love with him. She always went back to him, you know?
Yeah, but think about it, right? He's cheating. So when she's doing that, she's just thinking, hey, I'm getting my lick back. I'm doing my thing too. But she won't leave him for anybody that's not of that caliber until he completely just decapitates her and says, my only true love was Kim Porter.
I see what you're saying.
Well,
yeah,
Cassie told him that Happy Father's Day, baby, and I can't wait for us to have a baby of our own. She testified to that. She was super jealous on Christmas.
I also said if Diddy gave her a baby, we don't got a case. Diddy gave it to Dana Tran. If he had gave Cassie just wanted to feel like she wasn't just another chick on a carousel.
Right.
And you got to remember, by the time Cassie hits 29, I hate to bring up ageism in this, but by the time she hits 29, her and Carrie are saying, yo, who is this 22-year-old bitch he fucking with? This little girl. Why you fucking with that little girl? That was Gina. So as she's aging out, she's like, wait. And I pointed out, he met you when you were 19.
She was jealous on Thanksgiving and Christmas when Puff would post pictures of him and Kim Porter and the kids. That would drive her insane. She testified to that because she wanted Puff to spend the special holidays with her, and he never
That trip
did.
too, right?
This is Cassie. This is Cassie I'm talking about.
No, but he told Cassie, I'm going on a trip, and she said, why do you need to go on a trip? Is this a family trip? And he was explaining why he was bringing Kim Porter, and she was so upset.
She was jealous. She shared it. She said she was jealous of Gina, and she was jealous of Kim Porter. Insanely jealous was the exact word she used. She was insanely jealous. But Puff was jealous too, man. Puff
go both ways.
Puff was jealous too. He made her get in the car one time, and Puff said, "Call your mother. We gotta do something. I want to talk to her." And Cassie got the phone and opened up the password. He grabbed the phone when she opened the phone and jumped out and ran and stayed going 3 hours and called the NFL nigga on the phone.
He was like that, huh?
Yeah, he was money. He was about it. I
wonder what that conversation was like. What do you think that was like?
You know, they try to make Puff out to be soft, but Puff didn't come across. He don't come across as soft to me after the trial.
What the hell was Kid Cudi like? The Kid Cudi saying that Diddy was looking like the whole
Marvel supervillain.
Yeah, he was looking like a Marvel supervillain. And then when he asked him, he's like, "Yo, but what about my car?" He's like, "Yo, he hit him with the Debo line, nigga. What car?" And it was just like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was like, he just kind of moved on in the conversation. How was Kid Cudi? I think Kid Cudi helped out Diddy because he ultimately admitted on cross, she played both of us.
That was a crazy moment.
No, Brian Steele made him admit it.
Exactly, that was crazy when he.
Why did he show up? That was confusing.
Brian Steele made him
admit it. Because I don't think he showed
it.
up to help her. I think he felt hurt.
No, this is another government star witness. This is
he got subpoenaed because the arson
and kidnapping.
Yeah, but he could have ran from this shit just like KK.
No.
Where the fuck is KK?
No way. He could not have run from this. He wanted to. It was very clear he wanted to, but he
showed up like a rock star, leather jacket, smoking a cigarette.
He lied. He lied too. He lied on the stand, saying that they chased him. They got into a chase, and he lived in a cul-de-sac.
He didn't say that. That was Capricorn that said that. He said nothing about that. Neither did the police officer, and that's another reason why I go back to Capricorn's
But he said that
cross.
he said that he called Puffy while Puff was in his house and said, "Yo, you in my house, motherfucker?"
Yeah. But
no, he was capping that. He said he wanted to fight Diddy.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were like, Kid Cudi, you wear crop tops. You're not fighting nobody. Stop.
He said,
"Stop." We love him though. But
you in my house, motherfucker? Puff said, "Yeah, I'm gonna wait here till you get here. I want to talk to you." He said, "All right, I'm on my way." That's what Kid Cudi said on the stand. And then when it later comes out, there's no video footage of Puff, no photos of Puff, no fingerprints, no eyewitness, zero DNA of Puff ever being at his crib.
How did it play to y'all when Mark Ignifilo admits, yeah, he did go to Kid Cudi's house, but he went there to have a good old fight.
Like a
fist fight.
Yeah.
Fist fight.
Did that play good? Because
it goes back to the jurors.
I thought it did.
That's what I said. I'm looking at the 8 male jurors, and they're laughing, and they're having so much
A
fun.
New York New York niggas talking to other New York niggas in the joint. We wanted the fist fight. He don't need no gun. And the dudes on the stand like, yeah, this is how we do it. This is how we get down. Yeah, I thought it was a good play.
So, okay, because I was like, yo, why admit that? Because he was conceited. Part of it was very sarcastic from what I saw, right? It played like that. And it felt like he was also conceding certain shit like, yeah, we pulled up. Ain't pull up with no gun, though. Why we need a gun? We wanted to have a square off. We could dance. What's up? And I was like, ooh, maybe you shouldn't admit to that. But you're saying it played good.
He made a great case for why there was no gun that entire night, from Capricorn Clark to weaving in the officer that was there, and then to Kid Cudi.
Talk about it.
I mean, that was one of the best points made. And that, again, is like, all right, let's just cross that predicate off. The arson, the kidnapping. Yeah, because of Capricorn Clark and her cross-examination. I mean, it was like...
She had a crush on Puff.
She wrapped that up with a bow for them, just to cross that right, in my opinion.
He said he would show up to Capricorn Clark house at 5:30. She's been waiting for him to do that for years.
I mean, that was presumptuous of him, fine, but I guess I'm saying like...
Presumptuous? What you mean presumptuous?
Yeah, I mean,
come on, like, Lauren, don't do that. Don't do that.
She was waiting for that.
No.
Every male think that we all want them so bad. Oh,
because she testified.
Wait.
She testified on the stand. She testified.
If she's your girlfriend, would you say?
She testified on the stand. I had the biggest crush on him, and she used to call him chocolate.
No, I'm good.
Sure, good.
Yeah,
she used to call him chocolate.
He's right. She did say that in like 2002 or something. She said she had a crush on him, and then she did have flirty text messages. But it's just funny the way Agnifilo said that. He's like, I don't know. He's like, he didn't need a gun. She's been waiting for this moment forever, and it's like, okay, relax.
She's been waiting for him to show up at 5:30.
You think he hit it? Capricorn Clark.
Yeah, Puffy was hitting everything around him.
Damn. Do you think that? Is that the demeanor? Obviously, this is presumptive.
when they were partying back in the actually was it late 90s, early 2000s? I mean, sure, there's a chance they did. He probably doesn't even remember though. That's the funny thing. It's like, you know what I mean? 25 years ago, hung out with a lot of people, done a lot of drugs since then. If they did,
Listen, man, you talking about a powerful young man, decent looking guy with charisma, top of the entertainment field. You know, what kitty cat he got to take? What?
I don't believe that. But as far as
you don't believe what?
No, I don't believe he has to take anything.
Right.
But as far as the sex trafficking though, and this is why I said like Cassie's way more effective. I ain't gonna lie to you. It does sound crazy. Yo, you beat her so bad you flying a plastic surgeon to come like do some work on her. That's crazy. That's a little crazy. Like,
did that really happen?
Day before,
did that really happen?
D-Rock took her to the plastic surgeon.
Well, D-Rock never testified. We got to be honest too.
Right, but there were the text messages that said D-Rock just took her to a plastic surgeon, and then Cassie showed the before and after pictures, or the picture the next day was like on a carpet or wherever she was at this. Was it a Canadian music festival? I can't remember now, but that whole thing, and that wasn't so. This goes back to Mia as well. I had mentioned this on some of my reports, but the only times I had seen Diddy shake his head no, like in disagreement, was during Mia's testimony.
Yeah, because she claimed he fucked her on a jet.
Well, one was that, and then the second one was basically like Deontay, Cassie, their testimony was very similar to that fight where he was on Deontay jumped on his back and he threw him, and then Cassie was there, then he threw her. Well, that's what they said. And then Mia gets up there and basically says, per Brian Steele's words, he pile drove her head into the bed frame. And Diddy, I remember him sitting there and he's like, no. Because the testimony after that was like, Diddy saw her on the ground, all this blood, and he like kind of turned white, and then he went into like official boss mode. Okay, get the towels. You call D-Rock, call the plastic surgeon, blah, blah, blah. So that was the moment where I was like kind of thinking.
You think Diddy had like a plastic surgeon on demand like
that? Are you kidding?
What?
Yeah. He gets Jane's teeth done. I mean, I know those are veneers. It's not necessarily.
Yeah, but she gonna get that done.
But I'm saying you've got people.
You can make an appointment for that, though.
You've got people on staff. Or KK's got a Rolodex of people.
KK's an MVP.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I do think if Diddy gets convicted, KK's cooked. She getting the Ghislaine Maxwell treatment. She gotta get charged. It's impossible.
I don't think KK was like Ghislaine. I think that's super wild to say, don't you?
No.
KK was. Okay, we are talking about what we've seen in court. Inside these courtroom walls, you were telling me that we've heard KK solicit women to go get slapped around and banged by an escort?
Hey, I'm setting up for you to go get I'm going by the government allegations, not what I believe. I think KK is a down-ass chick who deserves all the money she got as a chief of staff. But according to the government, she would tell these women, hey, you're about to go fly to see Puff? Take these drugs in your bag.
Oh.
Hey,
Stop.
They would tell her, I don't like certain shit. You'd be like, listen, just don't upset Puff. She was the person
I
who was
disagree with that behavior. Putting drugs in Jane's bag. You just reminded me of that. That is not good. She should not have facilitated that. But I don't think
Ghislaine has that she doesn't have?
What proof do we have of that?
We have Jane's proof and assistant's proof and Guido proof with these text messages that said Jane picked up the package. She took it on the plane. KK told her where to put it. But that aside, you're acting like KK was forcing women and saying at parties, and maybe she was, but we didn't hear about it in court, right? I don't know.
Well, you have to realize. So going back to Cassie sending the book or proposed book in 2023, and she got no response from Diddy's legal team. KK responded to her and said, "Don't even worry, that shit ain't going nowhere. He ain't gonna read it." She was the person who was the filter and also the fixer.
She had his
among
phone.
everything. I do not believe. First of all, I don't think Puff is guilty of what we think Jeffrey Epstein is guilty of. So if I don't think that, neither do I think KK is. But
but that's not what you said at first.
No. I said if Diddy gets found guilty,
Okay.
you have to go for her, because if you're saying this is a top co-conspirator that made everything happen, you have to go for her.
Well, they would have to believe that she was the co-conspirator in order to find him guilty of RICO, right? That's part of what
remember with
racketeering
Jeffrey
is.
Epstein, they didn't charge Ghislaine at first.
No, because he died, and she's the fall girl. Even though she deserves it, she was still the fall girl. But what I thought you meant was that KK was acting exactly as Ghislaine and finding women, soliciting them, and saying,
No,
yeah.
Again, I'm going. This is me playing devil's advocate. I'm going as if I am the government.
I'm with you on that. If he gets convicted,
if he gets convicted,
they're gonna go after her. 100%.
You have to believe that she. So you're gonna tell me that she was not knowledgeable, even though she's knowledgeable of the drugs, the payment for the sex workers. She was emotionally trying to coddle these women when they were ready to crash out, but you don't charge her. That's why I say that she's Ghislaine.
I totally agree with that. Just not the actual acts of soliciting women.
Well, here's the thing. The difference in that case is that Diddy never asked for more women. He asked for sex workers to deal with his woman, right? With Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, he didn't want more men around. He wanted women to bring in other women.
But KK never directly, this is just just saying this, she never directly texted any of the escorts that we saw, right? I don't remember her ever.
No,
Cassie,
Jane,
and Diddy.
Cassie and Jane were the main reach outs.
No, she would orchestrate flights and getting people right. She wasn't setting it up with them.
Yes, but she never texted
but she
them
was
directly.
a facilitator.
100%, yes.
And that's what I would say if she's a Ghislaine. But again, I don't think Diddy goes down on the sex trafficking charges per se as how it's listed in the indictment. And we're going to see, where the hell is D-Rock? Where y'all think they are?
I have to rip this because it is so effing hot.
Oh,
I don't know how you do this. It is like
No, I'm not in here a lot.
Like,
Puff is
so hot, right?
No, it is hot. It is hot.
You know, I think D-Rock and KK, they just refused to testify.
Are you? Is it me? Am I?
No.
am I
It ain't.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
Like, we've been cooking in here because
Or the lights, yeah.
only with the studio, there's not approved. We didn't have the approved vents yet because Jersey City just tells us, like, they give us they give me. I see white people in here building all the time. I'm like, yo, can I get some shit to build some AC? I got the money. They're like, file like 15 permits and we'll get back to you. I filed some shit in COVID. They still ain't approved it yet. Think about that. So anyway, I'm like, all right, we'll have to get on fly this bitch in a little bit. But our studio on the top floor is a little bit better.
It wasn't bad until it's like I think just we've been under the lights for so long. That's why
These
at
lights,
first it was fine.
the TV, the timer, all of those things, it is saucing in here. You're right. You're right.
We're okay. We're okay.
But yeah, and I mean, and I'm not gonna hold you guys too much longer because I do hope, you know, number one, you know, you guys have been probably
gonna come back tomorrow.
Yeah, how long y'all been up?
I got up about 5:20, about 5:20.
Yeah. This has been a long day already. I think we've actually been on for damn near 4 hours.
No. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, we've been on for like almost 4 hours.
Oh my goodness.
We've been rocking.
No, we've been rocking, and there's always more to talk about. We could go down the angle of everybody's testimony. We could go down the charges.
Drug mule. We didn't touch on the drug mule.
Yeah, I think we should not try to, you know, completely do everything in a day. I'm down to be at you guys' disposal because number one, you know, we all have lives, but it's much easier for me to be here than you guys to get here.
What time you gonna get here tomorrow?
Well, you guys give me the time, and I'll do that.
Oh, I would like to go to court and feel it out.
You should.
Yeah,
you should.
I'm gonna.
So I'm gonna stream from home when you guys are doing that,
that's why
and
I
then we pick a
texted
time,
you.
and then we just
And
pop
I was
up
like,
here.
once they sent that note in, I was like, ooh, I'm definitely not gonna be there.
Oh no,
right
it's
by
all good.
2, so
It was the perfect time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, guys, happy Monday. And well, ladies and gents, I will say it is not my style, but I have been keeping a major secret from you all. And I was admittedly bursting at the seams because it is without question the craziest thing that has ever happened to me in my entire life, certainly at least in my political life, bar none. So in case you were having an uneventful Monday, welcome back to Candace. Just have to say it's remarkable that so many people in the chat think that my secret is that I'm pregnant again. That is something that I would tease as unbelievable surprise. That actually would be the least surprising thing ever. But that is not the case. It's actually much crazier. And like I said, I've been holding on to this for a very long time because something happened all the way back in February, and I was sworn to secrecy temporarily, and I feel that today is the correct day to inform audiences because it may have some severe global implications. So here is what happened, all right? The date was Monday, February 24th, and in the early evening, I had just kind of wrapped the show. It was just after 5:30 p.m., to be precise. I received a very strange message from a friend of mine. I'm not going to identify that friend, but the message specifically read, "Hey, I have something to tell you from the White House. They asked me to call you. I'm just the messenger here." Again, strange. I'm just the messenger here, like kind of removing themselves from whatever was going to be said. So I assume it's got to be something weird. And I say, yeah, whatever. Give me a call. And so he does call me pretty immediately, by the way. And he says, somebody very high up at the White House has asked me to ask you if, as a favor, you could stop speaking about Brigitte Macron. Like, what? Excuse me? I'm not kidding when I say that in the myriad of possibilities that were floating through my brain about what this phone call was going to be about, that was not one of them. So I'm just kind of having to redirect, and I'm going, oh, what were you talking about? To be clear, we had, ironically, as a podcast, we had just ended our Brigitte Macron series 4 days earlier on February 20th. That's when we released the last episode, which was the epilogue. So I'm going, that doesn't make sense. Why am I getting this phone call now? And obviously, I ask for a little more information. I say, who? Who specifically called you? And that friend of mine says, it's somebody that has the president's ear. This is somebody important. So I'm thinking, okay, this is advisor, Susie Wiles, I don't know. And I tell my friend, go back to that person and just say I said no. It's free speech. This is obviously an important story to me. The implications here are pretty severe about what I've uncovered. So no deal. Hang up. I go into my husband's office and I tell him what just happened. And honestly, I'm kind of laughing at the absurdity of it because I hadn't thought beyond what may have happened. And then I do what I always do, just in case. I call Noah, I call the lawyer, and I'm like, hey, I know Macron's, sending us legal letters. Just want you to add this onto the pile that somebody at the White House is asking me to just stop speaking about Brigitte Macron. Cool. We kind of have a laugh about it, run it different ways. Are we going to expect something else to be delivered to my door? Another threat, implicit threat from the Macrons, somebody calling in a favor, who knows, whatever. Anyways, we do dinner, and I am kind of feeling bad about my pregnant attitude on the phone call, because I was, 8 weeks away from birth, and I was a bit shorter on the phone than I would have been if there wasn't like a growing infant foot that's lodged under my lung. And this person has been very good to me in the past, and so I resolved that before I go to bed, I'll phone him back and have a much more calm conversation. Not that I was rude, but just like, hey, what's this actually about? And so I did. And not only that, before I called this individual back, when I checked online, I realized that Emmanuel Macron is in Washington, D.C., February 24th. He is in Washington, D.C., and he had departed the White House just hours before I received the call. So anyways, I am in awe. A lot of thoughts are running through my mind. What could this possibly be about? And when I call that person back, they tell me something that is even stranger. They say, look, I again am the messenger here. What I was told from somebody that's pretty high up at the White House is that Emmanuel Macron is holding up negotiations to end the Russian and Ukrainian war unless you stop speaking about his wife. And I'm just going, what? What are you saying? What are we even speaking about? What do you mean negotiations between Russia and Ukraine? I'm just like, looking into a story at my house. I've got a very small team here, and you're telling me that somehow negotiations are being held up and it needs to be communicated to me that I got to stop talking about Brigitte? What are we saying? And then I'm asking myself in my mind, because I hang up this phone and I am in true shock. Did Emmanuel Macron pretend to fly into D.C. under the guise of negotiations, the Russia and Ukraine war, and then instruct someone on his entourage to have an off-the-books discussion, a little meeting on the side, maybe somebody, again, like a Susie Wiles, where he made his truer demands? Like, hey, this is for the pictures. Me and Trump, we're talking about you. We're going to get it done. And then what really goes on behind the scenes is like, we're not doing anything until that little podcaster, Candace, agrees to shut her mouth. What? This is crazy. This is absolutely insane, okay? So I say, we ended the conversation. I say, I'm going to sleep on this. It's a lot to process. I remember I get into bed, and I just turn to my husband, and I say, no one will ever believe us. Just something that just arrived at me very slowly. I said, no one will ever believe that this just took place. And my husband's like, yeah, no. This is just very, very strange. And I promised the individual that I would pray on it, that I would think further about the situation. What are the implications here? And I then call him back the next day, and I say, look, this is pretty weird. You have to admit this is pretty weird, and you're not really giving me any details, and I kind of want to know who specifically you spoke to, because I think it kind of matters. Is somebody trying to do a side deal while Trump is doing a different deal? And at that moment, he's honest, and he says, no, President Trump was on the phone too. And I go, oh, are you kidding me? You didn't tell me this yesterday? That there was some sort of a conference call and President Trump is on the line? You didn't mention, I go, did you lie to me yesterday? Were you trying to pretend that it was like a third party person? And he says, no, I didn't lie to you. I didn't lie to you. Like, I got a phone call, and I obviously, in the background, Trump communicated something to me. So he was there when the phone call took place. And I'm going, what the heck is going on? Literally, what is happening right now? So I got the phone with him, and I just say, I just need time to process what you're saying. This is so absurd. How could this become an issue that is involving the President of the United States? I'm doing a series on my podcast. And then I just kind of get into mommy mode because it's Tuesday. My daughter's got ballet. I'm at ballet with my daughter, and I get a text message from that person that says, you need to pick up the phone. Somebody from the White House is calling you. And I say, okay, it happened so quickly. I pick up the phone, and sure enough, it is somebody at the White House that is calling me. It's not Donald Trump, but it's somebody at the White House that is calling me. That's pretty high up, close proximity to Trump. I'm not going to name. And this person just, I assume, has never even watched 1 minute of my content because, I mean, if there were a guide to how not to approach Candace Owens when you are trying to get something done, he was just following this guide. He could not have been more pompous and more arrogant on the phone. And I would like to contextualize that I'm like pretty heavily pregnant. So like, you know, my bandwidth for BS or anybody trying to like, well, you know, it was very low. And he essentially says, look, you should do it because it's the president and he's asking you to do it. What else do you want me to say? Just do it. Just stop talking about Brigitte Macron. Astounding. Reflecting on that level of arrogance because he told you to do it. It's an order, so you should do it. And all I was thinking in my mind before I flew into, you know, a little rage was that expression, proximity to power can lead others to diluting that they wield it. You're close to power. You think you're now Trump. You're calling me, even if you were Trump, this wouldn't be the way to speak to me. And you're calling me like that's an order from the president of the United States. So you just do it. No questions asked. Don't even think about freedom of speech. Who cares about that pesky little First Amendment? You got to just do it now. And I just basically say, look, my daughter's crying because she doesn't like when I step out of ballet, even though she can see me. She's, please, mommy, come back in. You're speaking to me inappropriately. And I just say, I don't really care I don't know who you think you're speaking to. This is not how you're going to get anything done with me. And I just hang up the phone. I'm like, this is just not a good conversation. I don't want to be part of this anymore. Goodbye. I don't like that at all. And the third party person who had initially told about the situation is trying to calm down, and he calls behind. He's like, no, you know, I don't know why you're spoken to like that. And like, you know, this is still really important. And, you know, this really matters to the president. And he's kind of trying to talk me off the pregnancy cliff. And I'm still calm enough that I know that pregnant Candace is not always the most rational Candace and a little bit of a hothead. And I resolve, as I'm speaking to this situation with my husband, that I should also reach out and maybe call someone who's potentially been in a predicament like this. I don't know, someone who's got a larger audience than me and kind of call in a favor. Because I don't normally text him, but I did reach out to Tucker Carlson. And I just kind of told him the situation and was like, look, this is really weird. No, I don't normally contact you for advice, but I could really use some advice right now because you know how much free speech matters to me and basically how important this particular story is to me because it involves, you know, potentially, not just potentially, like pedophilia, incest, all of these elements. And as a mother, the idea that people this powerful, that the story could be covered, it matters. Like this actually, the truth just matters at the end of the day. But also, like, if I could end the Ukrainian and Russian war, and by just stopping this conversation, I would do it. And he comes back with just very sage Tucker Carlson advice, and he says, look, you know, you don't want to have the bloodshed of Christians on your conscience, but also free speech does matter. And you should essentially say you'll do it until, like you're saying, this negotiations are happening now and you'll agree to do that. But at some point, obviously, you need to inform people about what happened because this is totally crazy. And I say that's actually a very good idea. I feel like that's a very principled position to take. Anyways, I sleep on that. Anger is subsiding. Wake up the next morning. It's February 26th, and I am sitting in the makeup chair, and I get another message that's like, hey, keep your phone on. And I'm going, I really don't want to speak to this advisor anymore. I really don't. Our personalities are not meshing. And anyways, this phone call is coming from Florida. I pick up the phone, and lo and behold, you know, so here's what happened. I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine and Russia, and you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me, and in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not like, hey, how you doing? He just like jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron, and now I'm speaking to the President of the United States, and the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, is about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? And so he just jumps right into the narrative. He's like, I'm negotiating. You wouldn't believe how many pieces this person wants this person, and this person wants this, and you have no idea how much is involved when you're trying to get one of these deals done, Anyways, I have Macron. I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car. And, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And he tells me that there's Secret Service all around them. There's SUVs. They're encircled. And Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then the president says to me, you must be a very powerful person, Candace. We're talking about the president of France taking me aside to talk about your podcast. And then continues his narrative. He tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is like, he tells me, she's old and this is really, really impacting her. And I'm listening. And he's, in one of Trump monologues, he's very funny. And then he said, I saw her, Candace, I saw her up close and she looks like a woman to me. I had dinner with her at the top of the Eiffel Tower. And I explained to him that she has had this amazing doctor who specializes in transgenderism surgeries or feminization procedures. I'm talking to the President of the United States about this, guys. This is crazy. This is wacky. But I'm just giving it as good as I get. I'm just trying to get him to understand the truth. And then I explained to him why I don't feel so great about this request, because that's the more important part. Like, you are requesting that I really, and despite your reasoning, which is very sound, that I stop telling the truth. And I said to Trump, and I will be honest, that at that moment I realized that one day this is going to go into my autobiography, and so I got to say something funny. And I said to him, respectfully, Mr. President, it's not my fault that he married someone with a penis. He then tells me, we're really close to getting this thing done. He tells me again, Macron's been really good to me. He's been very easy to work with us. He's been a good person. He just wants me to get this one thing done. And he throws in the art of the deal type stuff. He starts complimenting me. He said, Melania loves you. She says you're so beautiful. She thinks you're so beautiful. I said, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Compliments will get you everywhere in life is my mentality here. And then I say to him what I've agreed to already in the back of my head. I say, look, I'm happy to do this for the short. Obviously, I don't want to have on my conscience that less Christian men could have died in the East if I just shut up about something. But I'm very clear to him that this is going to be short term, and that I fully expect that in a few months I will be able to speak about this. And this is the point of the conversation where it actually gets quite interesting, because he says yes, and I am now adding to you what I sensed. Like, he was about to commit to that, but then it felt to me like someone in the background was like, no, we need this conversation to stop altogether. And then he doesn't say no or yes, but he just says, that he really needs to work with Macron long term, and they have this long working relationship. And I was very clear, this is not long term for me. Like, if you're close to this deal, ink it, let's get it done. And then he sort of offers at the end, he says, hey, maybe I can come on your podcast one day. I'm great for ratings. You're so Trumpian to give yourself a compliment. So I give him the Trump right back. And I say respectfully, Mr. President, I'm apparently good for ratings too, because you've got a leader of a country, the president of the country, asking you to ask me to do a favor. So then we end the conversation, and I am just reeling. I can't believe it's even happened. I then go and I immediately tell my husband, and I write down the details of the conversation so that I wouldn't forget the conversation that we were having. And of course, the first thing that I want to say principally is that Emmanuel Macron must step down. Okay? Because if that is true, And I will say that did not come from Trump. He did not say specifically he's holding up negotiations for this, but he did say specifically that they were talking about the Ukraine and Russia war all day, and he's just trying to make it all happen. And that is when Macron took him to the side. So I kind of trust the information who came from that third party person, that what he was being told was that he was holding this up, right? Like Macron's holding this up, a contingency here on whether or not he's going to agree to this sort of international deal is whether or not Candace Owens stops speaking about his wife. Yet you got to step down, okay? Because there is no greater example of just the lack of morality that a leader can have than his husband, wife putting him on a plane and sending him overseas to make Candace Owens stop speaking about their relationship. That is like, we really all should just take a deep breath here, take a step back and recognize that he is willing to let bloodshed, he's willing to let people die, okay? And a holdup here is going to be whether or not Candace Owens stops speaking about his wife's penis. That's ridiculous. You are not qualified to hold office. I thought that before all of this, just looking into your background. I know you're a fraud. You know you're a fraud. Your wife certainly knows that you are a fraud. But this is reaching levels where you just have to be impeached. That's absurd. That is like, let's get the impeachment trials going. And in my head, I'm thinking to Trump, actually, if you wanted to really negotiate, you could have said to him, how about I go live and tell all those reporters what you just said if you don't sign this document? That's how I would have played it. But, you know, I was like 7 months pregnant. I would have played hardball. I don't need to have friends when we're talking about ending bloodshed.
Hey, stop.
But the second thing that I want to say here is that it's occurred to me over time that this is about much more than the Ukrainian and Russian war, right? That is not why his Mr. Macron put him on a plane to go speak to Trump in person about this issue, right? They did that because they are terrified. They are terrified because obviously everything I've uncovered is true. Fiction would not make you do that, okay? You'd go, this is so absurd. It's so crazy. I mean, who's gonna believe that? Fiction does not make you fly 9 hours to the United States to ask the president if he has a moment to step aside out of the shot of cameras and speak about your wife, right? We can now, it is confirmed fact, put it on Wikipedia that Brigitte Macron was born Jean-Michel Trogneau. We can just go ahead and do that, right? But what did I hit at that has them really terrified? What was the success of that series? Looking into a web and understanding how deeply sinister whatever it is that is happening in Paris is. Looking into not just the current events, but the historical events. I mean, we put up a map and showed just how often they were involved in these pedophilic scandals. Silly ones. Putting the book for your Andre Gide, an admitted pederast, a guy who outwardly said, yes, I like young boys, and you choose that to be the book in your official portrait as the president of France. Emmanuel Macron did that. And I think there's more. I think there's more that they are afraid of. I think that it was a very powerful person, potentially someone more powerful than Brigitte, who told Macron, who is just a total fraud, a puppet, to get on that plane and make this request after they realized that sending legal letters wasn't the best idea. So what else is it that I've potentially uncovered about France? How does this relate to the United States? I'm going to tell you in just a second. First, I'm going to throw it to some of our sponsors. Let's speak about preborn, because June 24th marks 3 years since Roe v. Wade was overturned. And the hard truth is that abortion has not gone away. It's gotten worse. Abortions are at a 10-year high because the fight has moved from the courtroom to a place that's way more dangerous.